This is another video of Gerald Johan van Waas and the educational channel that is related with the Sound in Form book out in Trafford. 2 volumes available as well, very soon. The book is about a method which is called Sound in Form. That's a method of controlled synesthesia. The book represents the whole range of possibilities of how you can think by doing this, by using this synesthesia, and with it you can understand the way how vowels and consonants are combined, and they prove that it is not a coincidence how they are used, how they are chosen, and they have a meaning, and all the words have a meaning, and there's a direction in it, and these directions are undeliberately correct. The videos use most of the time a useful simplification. I will say most of the time because I will come to that later. How you can change letters and its related sounds into a form, and because of this you can easily find the interpretation and make an interpretation of the words and recognize in the forms the words and the intentions of the words, how they are formed. So we can learn how to do that by these videos, and thanks to that you will be able to understand the references hidden inside the words. This is actually a part 3 or part 2, if you like, as a continuation of the last, where I left off last time, when I followed the guidance of the numbers, the numerological order of letters that as a reference to Pythagoras school, who gave a number to the letters. It's not always practical, but in this case I made a decision of using it as a reference. And it was quite practical to use it for the letters with 1 center, A, T and K, the 2 centers, U, L and B, where I had a video bull. If you didn't see that yet, please, you can better watch it maybe first and then go back to this one. And the second video is with the words tax and max, and it is about the 3 centers, the C, M and X letters that have 3 centers in them. And I promised we will go to the 4 centers. I will not explain the aspect of time yet, but I will explain how you come to this idea and how you can also come from it if you really use the 4 centers. Unfortunately, if I do that, I will make it a bit too complicated, but you can still distill something from it, the essence from it, if you pay attention. And that's actually what it is. Try to recognize what is important and what is not. So even when I make, not deliberately a mistake, that I follow the full range of the numbers, and makes it a little bit more complicated, you can still recognize what is the essential thing and what is not in the end. So I explained already, I will make a small repetition, which were the vowels and consonants with center values, A, T and K, which ones were the one with the doubling centers, U, L and B, and the tripling centers, C, M and X. These were explained all in the latest, one of the latest videos. 4 centers, I said before, it's impossible because it's chaos. You should not do that. But anyhow, I will do that still. And I hope with some help I can overcome the complications in it and still make it comprehensible. Because as you can see, if you combine 4 centers into 1 center, there is a balance there, but this balance makes the complete form too complicated. But because of I add some colors, you can see, okay, the largest differences are actually the starting point in blue and the ending point in black. And that's the essence. So that's the way you have to remember during the video. You don't have to remember all the variations that are in between, but these two, they are essential, and they will come out and they will stand out and they will have its own reference, even when the other hidden references stimulate in that direction. So I start from with the 4 centers, and I will see what happens here. So it will still need a little bit guidance with the colors, as I said, and then you can recognize what happens. So you go from one center to the next. That's already one of the essences. That we start from somewhere and we have to arrive somewhere else. That's the basic reference that you have to remember with these on this next level. So I will go very slowly with this. At the starting point of a reference that is useful, we have a comparing point. That was the level after that. So that where we compared and put things a little bit out of balance and compare the things with themselves a little bit like that. And then now we look for the completion. So we make actually a move into that direction towards that point of completion. That idea I deliberately say because this is an idea behind these 3 letters. So once more, we compare the reference point and additionally we make an additional move to complete ourselves. So with the complexity of all the 4 references, of course, the changing of the forms a little bit to make it more clear is actually also one of the references that you are associated with the letter D, for instance. If you do that kind of thinking, it's like you emphasizes so that it makes it more clear what are the differences of the D, then you can find the solution for the disbalance. It will complete the disbalance. Here you still have the disbalance intact, but because of the emphasis, it also finds a solution. So the first balance, the disbalance, and the adapted balance. It means also that there is already an evolution towards a need for more balance and an idea that the centered thinking that we started from is not perfectly complete in these first 3 series, but it can complete itself better, more. There has to be some adaptation. We don't know what it is yet, but we will do that now. So we'll make already the move, and this move will create an outer effect and a change which is performed and formed over time. So, I already told you that how you can keep your focus by adding a little bit more color, adding a little bit more the bold letters, like with letters you can have something bold or underlined. These are the kind of things that direct you into some desired goal or move as well. So you have to make that change. So you create by these 2 different moments, the starting point and the goal. By creating this is also exactly the solution that nature finds after these 3 first dimensions. It will find the next one. So to make things more clear, they will even add more references into the 3-dimensional space. 4th reference immediately into that same space again. It will be too complicated, and if you try to calculate it that way, it will be too complicated. So you have to remove it into a distance, and this distance is the distance between the two moments in space, and that is the invention of time makes it possible to add the differences of those things that don't fit together, make it still fit. So three dimensions themselves are three directions with just one orientation. It is balanced with in each other. If you would simply add time as an extra arrow of orientation, you see already where they have to go to. You don't know, you can't make much order with that. But if you move time with a full space towards somewhere else, you have a reference of all three coordinates together, and you can create something that you can compare. It's from one moment to another moment. In some way, it's a goal that you have there with a distinctive highlight, a little bit like that, and there you make the connection in time. Everywhere we can find these kind of connection points between two moments. That's also where some of the next letters will occur. If I describe it in time, it will happen a little bit like this. We have already slightly prepared, and once this connection point is found and it exists, then the change can happen, and the connection towards the change is first formed, and then it will also happen over time in two stages, and these two stages are completely interconnected. If I keep the whole complexity and the chaos, almost chaos of all the references that are already there, we can still distill certain points with these three letters. So the D is an area that comes out, is of course from the center. The N, it's of course coming out from the volume, and the Y is of course coming out of the edges of its form. So that's the most simple thing to express it, with all the complexity still in it. But with the move of a form, you have to be a bit careful. There has to be the change and the moving from one point to another. The D, N and the Y are points of where there is a change. With the self-centered directions, you always have the same frames and kind of frames, and they fit together completely. It's only when they don't fit that you need time, and you need time frames and a change and a different way of thinking. If it's an extension which is fitting very well, so you have the same area fitting with a similar area, you have extensions that fit to the first letters, like the A. If you add another A, you have these two, as you can see there, you have these two frames fitting perfectly together. One A and one A, the same and the same, is a confirmation, and you get the letter A, which becomes A. With these larger sounds, they will connect. The T, T and the T and there are different sounds, so you can maybe hear it in letting is a different letter and sound than let, as you can hear. In the first version, it is connecting. So the K, you have that as well, but it's more subtle in the word rocking compared to rock. So then you have already some reference point to these sounds. So they connect to similarities with A, T and K, and they will keep all the references the same. With the next level of letters, U, L and B, we know that there's an inner center is a little bit balancing there. So there's also there the references will go towards variations that maintain the similar kind of variations. The B, if you would extend it with more forms, you only have the reference to the same kind of variations at the edges. And you can almost recognize the B if you make a connection to a similarity with B. You have here the almost very visible, the letter B. And it's especially the second part of the dark side there that fits with, because it's from going from one thing to another one. So it is fitting perfectly with the B. So that's still from a center position change, of course, also there when the edges are stretched, it's still from the center point vision. The next letter with U, if you extend it and multiply it, the U will also have a longer sound. Instead of U or U, it will have a U sound, and also there you have a continuation of what you already know from within. The L itself, there are variations in the volume and they are repeated, as you can see. The repetitions or the finding of the similarities in somewhere else and confirmation of the L fits in fact in the region of these double form here, and it is almost like we can express the L with it as well. But then of course we miss the details. So with a bit more detail, of course, the L will be reflected within the area of the volume of formation. Balancing out and reflected in the response. So a small resume of the second level again. You can recognize the areas of the common reflections in U in the center, the L in the volume, and the B at the edges. It's purely almost mathematically mathematical references. In fact, not much more than that, but you can start to recognize these areas if you like. And the next level, so that with the four centers, if I really need to add that, okay, I will first make the complex full range and full vision, and then I will say what is essential. That you should not forget that we will come to the essential thing. As you can see, if you really add an extra focus to create the extra balance, it's at the edge of it's almost at the end of comprehensibility. There's very unstable extensions that are completed, but as you can see, it is almost chaotic in the result. So nature, of course, will try to find where are the borders and complete the borders, where shall we find stability in connecting the two areas together is the goal which nature automatically will search for. And here is, so the first three images are the complex ones, so but the essential ones are in yellow there, as you can see, so it's not much more than that is needed. So there's a move of the center towards another point. And this is the complete picture with the move of focuses. And what it will do is it will try to find resonance with that area, with that new area, because it's a new space and it doesn't fit. It doesn't really fit with the automatic repetitions that you have with the A. It's a bit closer in range, and so there will be needed some adaptations. It's still unknown how to do that. There's not much reference to do that, but the D is opening up to go towards that position. So the first position starting point is the center point thinking as the A, which automatically want to find confirmation, and it doesn't find it because D, you can see, okay, now I need adaptation, so that I have to move and change my focus. That's basically what happens in the D. You have to adapt. The same thing with N. No, in the D there was a move the center and the change position. It was a very close range change. Here also quite close range change. The N, or the some point in the volume, is moved towards another point. So it's like moving material to a new position. Moving material into a new position gives it a new association, new reference, a new content. So the N is mostly changing the content and what is in it or what is not in it. And the last letter, of course, will move its edges towards edges or limitations, or the whole range until here. I can think until here my borders are, until here my range, my region is, and it tries to find the different solutions for expanding the normal limitations. That's why letters like in system, that's why the Y in system is used. It tries to find a way to expand the limits factor from within the system. Okay, now the simplification, because it was a bit too complicated, sorry for that, but I had to show the 4 regions at least one time. The main thing you have to remember is now we have a change of focus. This change of focus is made for comparison and adaptation, and it doesn't fit. So it doesn't fit immediately. That's what I see. That's why the adaptation process is started, and it will have a goal on its own, a point of reach that will be engaged. And here are the simple explanations. The D is a move of its center towards a different point that doesn't match at this point to the complete environment, or is a move of the inner material with the N, which also doesn't fit automatically in balance with what we have before, and the move of its reach with the Y, with its of its whole reach or its limits, also not immediately fitting. Here a bit more into detail, so you can see the move of its center, the move of its material, and the move of its limitations towards a different range. So these 3 letters, D, N, and Y, they only appear or are there where the match is not immediately found. So there's there will be no repetition, there will be no direct match, there's an adaptation needed, and it will find a logic how to fit it. So you have 2 kinds of situations where the differences are far away or the differences are close by. So there is an adaptation needed with a far distance and with a close distance, of course, as well. With a close distance, there will be a more direct adaptation needed from within. Here, expressed again, there will be an inner push with the D, an inner extension with the N, and an outer extension with the Y. This inner pressure in D will make it that you can that the change or the move will be possible. With the N, the moving material will be placed from one place to another, And with the Y, of course, we will find extra functions, extra usage. What can we do if we broaden our perspective? What kind of limitations we will add in our whole perspective? They are here a bit more clear. The D, the N, the Y. And because of there's an inner pressure involved, the adaptation will not be immediately. So you don't know with the D what kind of position you will have to take from your center point of vision. So you have to change your center point of vision, and you don't know where it will go to yet. So you'll keep that open. With the N, you don't know where the content will be, so you keep that open. So the Y, you don't know what kind of definitions you will have to add or use, or what are the limits, so you keep that open. This is the essence of what is beyond these letters. So they still have to be filled in, and it finds a solution. That's what that will happen. These are the first letters that will find a solution, and they sometimes they find it in the surrounding letters. In the close range, you have these letters that are very short, so you can associate them there. So the D, the very short D, a very short N, and a very short Y. So it is comparable to letters like with the N is like the N of the knowing, and the of the. That is comparable. You can remember it. The associations are like, okay, there's an adaptation, it's open, we can still change something, and we can fill it in. That is what the letters have as an association, and they help you to understand the words that have these letters in them. Just one example, because it's already a very long video, so I have to limit myself to just one example. I didn't immediately know could have a word in my mind with the letters that we already saw with one of these three letters in it. So, but I know the Dutch word DAK, which is roof. So I'll take a quick look at that word, how it will adapt itself to the form. We know already that the da, the d, or the is the pressure and towards a or a form. And we have to combine it with K, so it can be a kind of breaching point. So this pressure breaks this breaching point or breaking point or image that has this inner pressure to break open wider a little bit, so it changes the form a little bit, because there's a pressure that will extend its limits. That's what I will say, and this pressure will be added to the K, and it will look for adaptation. If I just simply use the horizontal and vertical plane as it should be, I have more or less this form. I have the horizontal A, the vertical K, and the pressed D. So it is already the expression of DAK. The pressure is in the corner. It is in a corner. It is pressing up. It's not a real pressure, but it is finding also a solution for the pressure. That's so it's in two ways. It's not just one pressure. It's in two ways. And that's with the A in the middle. You can even express it like this. There is the plane of the A, which has a pressure in it, and there's a counter pressure in it with the K, and this pressure is there's an adaptation to this pressure in the full range of this word, what it means. You can, I think I said enough to analyze already what the word DAK actually, or roof actually means. It's not wide range of a form, but it is the pressure. It is about the pressure that is adapted and finds a way to lessen its pressure actually, and that is a very good expression actually from the word from also what these letters mean. So I hope it will help to guide you. So sorry it was now and then a little bit complicated, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you, for some people wanted a little bit more the theory and following the theory, that's the way I did it today. And okay, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to watch more of the videos. I hope to explain all the aspects of time as well, how I see it in one of the next videos. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. You can watch, of course, the videos on the YouTube channel, and you can also read the book. You will find it on Trafford, and it's also on Amazon. It's also in the Europe. You can also find it on bol.com. Anyhow, that was it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.